Welcome to the Page Unified School District Board meeting on this day, March the 3rd. And I'd like to say, hey, thank you for all coming. Board members, good to see you. And let's start the meeting with a roll call, please.
Desiree Feller.
Ed Franklin.
Sandra Kidman.
Dee McCary.
Rob Varner, Superintendent.
Bob Candelaria and Lynn Hoffman, Board Secretary. I'd like to if everybody would join us in a moment of meditation to start this meeting. All right, thank you very much. And will you all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Sandra Kidman will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're good. Board, we've got an agenda. It's an action item. Need a motion and a second.
I approve the agenda for the regular reading. I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This is the time for announcements, comments, and we do have one comment, one blue card. And would you please read the statement, Dee?
Yes. Public complaint concerning facility services personnel instructions are not heard by the board until the district's due process procedures are followed. Forms for filing complaints are available at the superintendent's office. To address the board, please fill out a blue card, which is in the back of the room on the table, and given to the superintendent. The board reserves the right to limit public comment due to time constraint. You'll be given 3 minutes.
Okay, we've got a blue card from, is it Janine Federich? Federich. Okay, thank you. And you'll be given 3 minutes.
You need to turn on the mic. Yes. I think you've got to be a little closer. Okay. A little closer. Okay. How about now?
We should be able to make it out.
It won't record if it's not picking her up.
I don't think it's on.
I don't think it's on.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Good, thank you.
Okay, ready? All right. I'm here to discuss a situation that is applicable to not just me, but also to a good friend and others who I know have had to move 3 times in 4 years, only to be done with it. And actually, she left the area last year. A town that caters to, of course, the vacation rentals by owners, and doesn't seem to encourage people to have rentals for teachers or professionals who are trying to invest themselves in the area, the students, the schools. You lose, PUSD loses a lot of good teachers and potential teachers. So currently the person who owns my house is trying to kick me and my daughter out. It's not, I'm not afraid. I'm not going to move until the end of the year. However, I've been there for 4 years, almost 5, and he is having the place up for sale for $260,000. And I know that I've come to one of the meetings with Rob and a couple other people saying that it would be good to purchase some housing that could be overturned and re-rented out. So basically, I have a daughter who's a senior, soon to be graduating in May. She's beyond irritated because she wants to go to SUU. And I see this, of course, as an opportunity to go back to New York because I have a nice home there. But I want to do what's right for her, and finding a place that's affordable, that's good, that's, where I don't have to share it with other people, 2 other people. It's hard at my age having a roommate when I have 2 daughters and a dog. So I'm looking for someone in Page who might want to invest in the students of Page, and thus the teachers, and who might want to purchase this particular place from the landlord who says he's tired, and that's fine, but yeah, I have the house number, I have the interest rates, I have, you know, what it would cost, and I'm sure he would knock it down because it definitely is not worth $260,000. And I just, you know, maybe you know someone in town that is looking to make an investment in our community. You know, when I leave, if I stay and I stay 4 more years while she's in college, then I'll leave and 3 more people can come in. So I just provided the information for you, and if you happen to know someone that would make an investment into some housing for the specific use of teachers, that's what I'm here asking. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next, we've got special business, really a great time of our board meeting, and Ms. Kidman is going to be introducing our Students of the Month.
All righty. Okay. This is always my favorite part of the meeting. And I'm going to hold this up here. Is Daxton Miz here? Yes? No? Maybe? No? Okay, it's really short, but I'm going to read a little bit about him. He was nominated at Lakeview by his teacher, Miss Katz, because he puts forth an effort to display all the behavior expectations at Lakeview Primary. Daxton is respectful when interacting with his peers and adults, participates in learning, and strives for excellence. Daxton also exhibits a positive attitude when asked to complete tasks. We're so grateful to have Daxton as a member of our school community. So that's what's going on with me. Oh, there, I thought I saw you. There you go. Thank you. All right. Then is Derek Yazzie here? All right. Come on up. It's a little unnerving to be up here, huh? But look at these guys. They don't bite. They are just excited to see you. Okay. It says what your I'm not sure which teacher. Who's your teacher?
Miss Latham.
Miss Latham? I think she nominated you. Okay. It says, when you think of pride, Derek should have his picture in the dictionary. Wow, that's really something. And it says, you are one of the kindest and most positive students I have had the pleasure to know. When I need someone to help another student, he is the one to offer help. Derek is very responsible. I can always count on him to do the right thing, and he always serves as a role model for others. He is determined. When he makes a mistake, he owns up to it and makes amends. That is a great quality to have. You're ahead of many adults already. Derek always has his hand raised and wants to share his knowledge with the class and with me. In everything Derek does, he is excellent. He is always here at school and utilizes every moment to become better. I am proud to nominate Derek for Student of the Month, and you got it. Congratulations. Good job. All right. And you get a book, and this you can frame or put on the wall. Congratulations, Derek. There you go. Thanks for coming. All right. Good job. All right. Katona Reed. See her? Yeah. All right. Come on up. Looks like you got a little bit of Santa. Very good. Okay. You are at the high school. Katona is the grandson of... middle school. See, I'm just making you bigger and will make you grow up too fast. I'm sorry. Middle school, you're right. Okay, he's the grandson of Alan and Lisa Martin and the son of Marshall and Brianna Reed. He comes to us from Lachey and is an outstanding student in many ways. He exhibits ownership in our choir class by arriving early to help out, seeing that materials are in order and sharpening pencils if needed. He is a role model and seated in his, He's a role model and seated in assigned seats quickly as other students enter the room. He's careful not to disrupt the class when I'm instructing and is very respectful to students and teachers. He's a role model and a leader. I can hear him singing his part and offering to sit by others when they may need a boost. He's an important figure in our choir class for many reasons. However, his positive and respectful efforts are a tribute to our entire middle school. He is non-assuming and quietly works even when others may appear to distract from instruction coming from teachers and administrators. So good job. Thank you. All right, thank you for coming. All right, Seth Torrey from the high school. All right. Looks like we interrupted you doing something. Oh, did you hear that, Don? All right.
Missing the last.
Let me shower some praise on you. Okay. Seth is nominated by Miss Brandy Thompson because Seth is smart, funny, and very enjoyable student to be around. She says, I have had the pleasure of teaching him for 4 years now and can say he makes every class he is in better. He sets up for activities, picks up equipment, helps his peers without being asked. I look forward to working with him for this last one semester before he graduates. So congratulations. Thank you. Hey, thank you. All right, Alicia, really? Is she here? No? Okay, I'll just read real quickly what's been said about Alicia. Alicia was nominated because she has turned her academics around. She has done very well this semester and continues to be successful. She has a positive attitude when it comes to school, and she is a wonderful asset to the school. She is truly awesome. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. Parents, let me remind you that you can, your kids will have their pictures taken. Mr. Steve Law back there, the good-looking guy that's waving his hands. Make sure you get with him after this, and he'll take your picture. And I'd just like to acknowledge the parents because I know how much work this takes. And Martins, you guys have been at it a long time. Keep sending them, though, all right? And Yazdi's, it's good to see you. 4 boys, 2 football players and 4 basketball players, right? That's what we got. All right. Hey, next up, Ed Franklin with the Employees of
the Month. You
Yep.
got it. And we'll start off with Jody Gardunia. She's okay. She was nominated by Terry Simmons. Okay, would you like to come up and read for us, please? We'll let you take over. Just share that with us.
Okay, Jody Garduno is an excellent teacher who has taught in our district for 16 years. She came to Desert View as a 4th grade teacher. For 7 years, she looped with her students for both 4th and 5th grade. Her students loved her and her energy for teaching. She left Desert View to teach 6th grade science at the middle school for 5 years. She brought her excitement for learning to her science classes. She came back to Desert View 4 years ago and taught the ELL students. She gave the students many hands-on learning activities and touched the students' hearts. This past year, she has been the school reading specialist. She has put together a great intervention program for struggling readers and math students. She is dedicated to working within our new reading program, and the students are making good progress. Jody has worked hard to perfect her teaching skills and has taught Fred Jones classroom management classes for the district, and she shares her skills with other teachers. Jody's greatest gift is her ability to make students feel important. She shows so much excitement for every student she interacts with. She stands in the hallways as students come into the building each morning with a big smile and greeting for all of them. She continues this all day long, and every student feels like they are her favorite person. She has the same skill in working with her coworkers. She always has a smile and a greeting for all of us.
Would you please? I had the pleasure of meeting her to her husband, who I worked with for about 8 years. Great lady. How she puts up with Ed Jr., I have no idea. Okay, and the next one we have is Tashina Williams, and by Mary Frank. Is Mary here? Okay, hold on. I'll take one like this. Tashina always goes out of her way to ensure the kids enroll in the school district and their families have what they need to be successful. If a family expresses a need that student support service does not generally assist with, she does whatever she can to help the family out. She is genuine and kind in her interaction with the families and have been a resource that many families go to when they don't feel supported from anywhere else. She will see a situation of concern all the way through and will work long hours if necessary to ensure the families have been helped. She is a huge advocate for our families in the community of Page. Last month, Tashina took a family wood for their stove and furnished their home with items that have been donated and that she sought out from the public. She advocates for students to receive interventions to address their behaviors rather than solely utilize disciplinary techniques such as suspensions. Tashina volunteers to wake up early to pick up a student and his mother for a meeting at the school district when they said they didn't know if they could make it. She offers to attend district hearing on behalf of the families to ensure that their thoughts on the matters were heard. She is always the first person to volunteer to help others. I don't think there's anything much to say. I see you all the time. I know what you do and how you invest it, and I wish we had more like you. It is an honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Item number 3 under special business. This will be an action item. I'll go ahead and list the items that are for donation, and then we'll need a motion and a second to approve. Number 1 on the list is clothing and backpacks donated by Shalana Aguero to Student Support Services valued at $50. $600 check donated by Adventurous Antelope Canyon Tours to the Page High School Cross Country Program. A $600 check donated by Zion's Way Home Health and Hospice to the Page High School Cross Country Program. A $100 check donated by Dwayne and Vicki Richard to the Cross Country Program. And a couple more. Miscellaneous clothing and shoes donated by Tyson Yazzie to the Student Support Services Department, no dollar amount. Miscellaneous clothing, blankets donated by Ernie and Chrissy Rivers to Student Support Services, no dollar amount noted. This is an action item.
I make a motion to approve the donation that was been read.
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Before we vote to approve, any comments?
Just thank you very much.
Just thank you very much. All right, that's times 5, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Next item, budget presentation by Vindy. And you're on the clock.
I can do it. It's just click on the bottom beneath.
Governing Board President, Mr. Candelaria, Governing Board members. Today we're going to look at what our budget history looks like, and also our ADM changes and how that impacts our budget, and also a recap of what our 19-20 budgets, M&O and impact aid budgets look like. So if you look at this slide, we have our historical per pupil budget. Here I wanted to highlight what our M&O budget has looked like for the past 8 years. So, and also we have impact aid budget in the in the third column, and then we look at our ADM, and you see a downward trend in how the ADM declined, but with the healthy carry forwards that we've had in the past, we were able to sustain a higher per pupil budget. That's what you see today, that we are at $10,000 and $364. So, and that's what I wanted to highlight and show you in this slide. If we look at here, we have the historical impact aid funding, the payments we've gotten over the years. So if you look at this, we have the payments declined as well in alignment with the weighted student count. So today, we are at $6.4 million of funding with the weighted student count of 1322. So in this slide, I wanted to highlight a few of our funds and show you where we are at today. So if you look at our Prop 301 funds, that's where we pay out our building goals and teacher performance classification payouts, all come out of our Prop 301 monies. This Prop 301 fund and our Indian Gaming Fund, Capital Fund, they're all funds we will receive revenue on going forward. But for fees and the other Fund 958, we will not be receiving any more. So end of the year, if we end up using it all, we will deplete, for example, Fund 958. So if you look at Fund 958, we have that, and the Forest Fees Fund was always considered to be our reserves. But now with what we see here, we started in 2014 with $1.1 million in our Fund 958, but today we are at $347,000 because we have been spending our funds and utilizing our funds on curriculum development. So, and also this is where we used up our funds for the math adoptions and all that. Resource adoptions we did. So, end of this year, once we absorb the elementaries, we will deplete that fund completely. So those reserves will be gone because we don't get more revenue for these funds. So that's what I wanted to highlight there. And
couple things, Vinnie.
Yeah.
May I?
Yes, please.
The IGA was the transferring of Seattle students. At one time, we were able to do that, and it stopped right before I got here. As you see, the $1.7 million this year got stopped, and we were no longer, based on a AG decision, that we were no longer able to transport those students. So that's where that fund came from. So we've been pretty mindful of taking our curriculum resources and other things out of that pot. Forest fees used to come and go to the Coconino County. Anywhere where you have impacted by forest, you would get those fees, but the governor, the legislature decided to stop those funds from coming in too, so this is our last year to see those as well. So, and then capital, you can see real quick, we have a school district suing the state over capital funds. That is going through litigation right now. It's been in litigation for 3 years, and the reason being, if before 2009, you probably would have seen about $1.5 million in capital coming to the school districts, and you can see through the recession, they've never got back to those numbers that we had pre-recession of 2008, 2009, and that's what they're trying to get money back for from about 10, 15 years ago. So that's a lawsuit that you'll see a lot more of soon. Thank you.
Thank you. So if we move on, going into our next slide, this shows us the downward trend, and that correlates with the decline of funds that we receive for the year. So that graph shows our ADM, average daily membership, going down. And if we look at here, this shows up how we've distributed our M&O budget today in fiscal year 2020. So 59% of the budget is salaries, and the 18% is for benefits, and the 7% is for purchase services, 2% is allocated towards travel, and the 10% is allocated towards supplies, and the 4% is other, such as dues and fees, memberships, and also our utilities are paid out of this other pot of funds. So, and here we have the Impact Aid budget distribution, which shows us 48% of the Impact Aid budget is our salaries, and 14% is our benefits. And 3% is purchase services, 6% of it is travel, 4% represents the other, and 15% represents the furniture and equipment. Bulk of that is where we purchase our technology, make up technology purchases. And 10% is, again, the rentals, dues and fees, memberships, and other expenses, miscellaneous expenses goes under there. So finally, I have a slide where it shows us how much new money we'll be getting for 2021. So if we add the increase in inflation plus the teacher increase that we received, we come up with the new revenue in M&O that we will get. It's close to $500,000, and so because of us losing students, we have to make that adjustment. You have to take that out of the total revenue, so that's $72,000 minus the $500,000. So we are left with what we call our new money for our in our general budget limit in our M&O fund. So with that being said, as you can see, it's not much, so we need to start having the conversations of how we would like to move forward. In the near future, Mr. Varner has said we will be discussing on how we will capture that and look at the impact of that to the district.
How did you calculate the loss of students? Did you go by our current numbers, or is this projected numbers?
These are all estimates at this point, yes.
Yeah, and how many students are you projecting that we'll lose?
We already lost 100 by the 100th day, but I believe another 50.
We're sitting about 86 currently.
Mm-hmm.
We picked up a few. It's been up and down all year. We lost 15, picked up 7, so it's fluctuating. But right now, currently, we're under a loss about less than under 100.
So, are we thinking that's due to the power plant?
I'm thinking a lot of it's due to the
Because our typical loss usually over the years has been anywhere from 20 to 25.
Well, if you go back to an earlier slide where it talks about annual daily membership, which is different than enrollment,
right?
You can see the trend. Since last year, it's 103 since 18-19.
Yeah.
Again, average daily membership is different than enrollment because you only get 0.5 for kindergarten students, but you see we're trending downward since a long time. Yes. for the last 8 years.
The other thing that concerns me about our student enrollment is when you look at the data dashboard is that our class sizes at the elementary schools are significantly lower than they have traditionally been. Like our typical class size was around 200, 220.
Yeah, we used
And
to
now
say 200 per class size
Yeah,
as we
and now
go
we're
through.
more like between 160, 180. So that's a,
We have some
Future
anomalies
trend.
above that, but we definitely have more anomalies below 200 now.
yeah.
But when I first got here, it was just like, we just can't bank on 200 across the board.
And now,
almost every
but
grade
at the
level.
elementary schools is more of 180 now.
I think fifth grade next year will have about 165 kids. I think that's our lowest cohort right now, fifth grade. Going into fifth grade this year, fourth, fifth. That correct, Rich? Pretty close? Pretty close, yeah.
So that's a concern. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you.
We do have open enrollment, so hopefully we can get some kids from other places. Doors open, folks.
Any further questions for Vindy at all?
Thank you, Vindy.
Thanks, appreciate it. Okay, next up, the reports, governing board reports. Des, would you like to start us off?
Sure. So on February 17th, I attended the ASBA Rural Advocacy Day down at the Valley. I got to meet with one of our congressmen. I forgot who he was. But what they did with Rural Advocacy Day was that they put a lot of our rural school superintendent and board members to meet with Republicans from other areas of the state and really give them a spiel on our needs and basically just educating them and letting them know that, hey, we're in existence and that we would like more support from them and so forth. So that was pretty unique. We did have I believe this is the first year that they've actually had a good attendance. So there was about 65 people in attendance, which was a positive for ASBA. And there is the equity event that I will not be attending this year. So next week I will be attending the NAFIS conference in Washington, D.C., so I'm looking forward to that. And I know that the Asia Committee is actually going to be hosting a congressional breakfast, which would be hosted by San Carlos Unified School District, and they are inviting staffers and other congressmen and senators to come visit and, give us, just to be present with us. And we're also going to do the Capitol visit as well, too. So there's a lot going on when we get to Washington, D.C., which is going to be busy. That's all I have.
Just one thing. I was gone last week, but when I made it back on Monday, I had so many of my fellow coworkers wanted to say thank you to Rob, especially for this past Friday when with the school being closed down for the game and everything else, and being so supportive out there. It was amazing. I promise you, within the first few hours of getting back to work on Monday, I bet you I've seen at least 10 or 12 coworkers that had kids, and so many of them went down there, and they really appreciated the time.
I have nothing to report. I'm on the other side of the spectrum on that one, so we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Kidman. Thank you. Dee?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I was invited to attend the Lychee chapter meeting, mainly for clarity on the closure, how many students were losing, what impact was going to have on our funds. So, not knowing that much about the enrollment at that particular time that they wanted, as well as the finances, I came over and met with Vindy. And some of the slides that she just presented were some of the ideas that I shared with her to come up with those, because many of the representative, parent representative, they're very visual learners, as you know, with our children. They want to see. So some of those slides, 4 of those slides were developed accordingly, and that's what I took over, and everything was in Navajo. And I had a lot of difficult times with the money part, so which was kind of difficult. The second item is I had the pleasure of attending the basketball tournament, semifinals in Prescott, and then the finals Friday and Saturday, which was, kids really played their heart out, and I'm just so proud of them doing what they were able to accomplish. And tomorrow I'll be attending the equity conference that's going to be held in Phoenix Thursday and Friday. So I should be able to bring back some information as far as looking to see our current policies to see how we're covered under those circumstances for our children. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank Steve Law. He's not here right now. Also Eloise Goetson, several others that helped us kind of stage to make sure we could get information out to the extensive community that we have here in terms of receiving applications for advisory committees and in terms of the superintendent search that's underway. We've been working with Steve Highland from the Valley. He's our contractor, I'll say, and he's doing a really great job for us. But I'll have a little bit more later on, but I'd just like to extend that thanks. And in the initial planning meeting, Adam took your place, and he did a great job. Abraham Rodriguez and Rob was involved with that, and Terry as well. So thank you guys, and we got the responses we needed, and so that's one thing we can move ahead with. But I'll have a little bit more later on in terms of planning for March 12th. But thanks for all the help. And the absenteeism at the high school has gone down. What are you doing over there? Ice cream instead of no, it's gone down. It's gone down from historical perspective. It's gone down pretty well. So that's good. And that's all I've got, Dr. Varner.
Well, I had one of the best moments I've ever had. 5 years of being superintendent here, walking down Manson Mesa's hallway today. And the students were out there. First of all, Manson Mesa was decorated for Dr. Zeus Day, and they were hosting the preschoolers. And the interaction between the kids with Manson Mesa and those preschoolers were amazing. I was telling Mary, I just had chills just watching those kids, seeing a different side of them that commonly we don't see, and it was just, they had a huge heart for those kids, and it was a great day. They were applauding the preschoolers as they left, and just that interaction was extremely special. I know Lakeview was hosting their intervention fair. I apologize for Friday, but thank you for hosting yesterday. I tried to get over there, but just a busy, busy day. And that look of calmness on Jeannie Wood's face for the next week. Cycle 4 monitoring, we'll have this part of education for the entire day next Wednesday, seeing how we're doing, and we've been working diligently with Vindy and Shannon, Jeannie, myself, and Angie. We've been working hard on getting prepared for that. So that look for Jeannie next Thursday. She'll have this smile on her face and a little happy step, and parent-teacher conferences next week, and gosh, we're over at spring break, so that's it.
Amazing time. All right, going on to item number 6, the consent agenda, and Ms. Fowler, could you read the statement, please?
It is recommended that the governing board approve the items on the consent, wrong one. A copy of the consent agenda is available at the district administration office. All items listed will be considered as a unit by the governing board and will be approved with one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items unless the board member requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item.
Okay, action item. I need a motion and a second, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Calendar of events, you see that in front of you there. As Dr. Varner mentioned, Gads, we're already spring break, parent-teacher conferences coming up. And of course, just want to remind us, we've got a full day ahead of us on March the 12th, so don't plan anything. Last one that Steve conducted, he said they went till 10:30 at night.
No, we're not doing that.
Okay, never mind.
We're more decisive than
Yeah.
whoever that was.
If it gets to 10:29, we'll just make a decision and be done, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, very good. Any other things on calendar that you would like to note or something that you would want to bring up? Okay. Additional agenda items, item number A, contracts to be issued for 2020-2021, an action item. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the list of employees to receive the contract for 2020-21.
Thank you.
I'll second.
We do have a motion and a second.
I have a
Uh,
question.
Yes.
Okay, so it says in here that, because we don't know how much money we're getting, what's the time frame on when we'll know exact amounts?
I'm hoping to bring that to the board no later than the May board meeting.
May,
With,
okay.
Randy and I are digging through the budget. We are anticipating, raises. And, again, we've been blessed with some healthy carryover and impact aid that we should be able to be fine. And plus the governor gave us some money as well. So we'll have those numbers. So this particular, contracts, a couple weeks ago, we approved the forms. Now we are approving the names on those forms. Of course, there'll be, once the raises and the dollar amounts go into those, then they'll be amended. But once they receive the contracts, they'll have, right before spring break, the employees will get those, and they'll have 15 business days to accept those. And then we'll amend those based on the raises that we'll be able to give to. The goal is to give all employees raises this year again, and I'm pretty optimistic that we'll be able to make that happen. And that'll come to you no later than the May board meeting. Hopefully, possibly, if we get our spring break kind of puts a damper into a lot of work things. So no later than May. If we push it, maybe April. Maybe April. Well, probably May. Because we've got to still wait for the legislature to finally finalize the state budget as well. But we don't anticipate any crazy things this year, so we'll see.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Dr. Maurer, you have anything that you'd like to add? Okay. All right, we do have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Item B, request for leave of absence, submitted by Bill Patterson. Action item.
I'll make a motion to approve the leave of absence for Bill Patterson through June the 30th of 2020.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
We do have a motion and a second. Dr. Varner.
There are some things in my report in regards to why this leave of absence needed to occur, and we're so grateful for Mr. Patterson over the last 10 years, and my recommendation is to approve the leave of absence and hope he can come back to us.
Okay. Any questions, clarification? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item, appointment of Director of Transportation.
I make a motion to approve Helena Nakaidene as the Page Unified School District Transportation Director.
I'll second that motion.
We do have a motion and a second. Dr. Varner?
So in November, we appointed Helena as our interim director. We posted the position for almost 3.5 months. we really didn't have any viable applications, and after some begging, pleading, and prodding of Helene, she finally decided that she would be full-time director, and I'm very, very happy about that. And she's doing a great, fantastic job. We very, very rarely hear anything out of transportation, so I know the bus drivers are very happy with this decision as well. So my recommendation is to approve her as our full-time director of transportation.
Now, Rob, when I read, did I read it right? She said she's willing to do it until she retires here pretty soon?
She planning on retiring soon, not until a while, but probably within the next couple of years. She's planning to
We're good then. Okay.
enjoy her twilight of her career, such as myself, so, yeah.
Okay, any further comments, questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next item, April 24th, 2020, a non-contract, non-work day. This is an action item. Do we have a motion?
Well, first, do we need to kind of discuss which thing we want to go with, or should we just make a motion to discuss, or what?
Yeah, make a motion to discuss, and we can talk about A or B and decide on which, or any option thereof.
Well, I guess I can just, I'll make a motion to approve, B.
Okay, we have a
To
motion to
discuss?
accept
No, to approve
To
the
approve.
item B.
item B, would be recommendation B on the...
Yep, that will be my motion.
And just to clarify, the motion is to remove the date from the calendar, cancel school for students, but require all staff to work or use leave to take the day off.
Okay.
So we do have a motion on item B. Do I have a second on it?
Well, we can discuss it now. Oh,
Well,
never mind.
Yeah,
We
I'll go
just-
ahead. I'm fucking.
Thank you. We do have a motion and a second. Any discussion, further clarification?
So because of Friday, we switched the days, due to the lack of attendance, I should say. I met with PEA. I also met with the PESA, with the classified group, talked about the options. They were both very supportive of B, and they understood why B could be a non-school day for students and gives them an opportunity to work. Working with the classified folks, or take leave. Working with the classified folks, they like the idea of the option of working, but they also like the option of having some professional development that day. And Helene wants to do some safety stuff. I know Georgie wants to do some stuff with the custodians. Talked a little bit with Tashina about possibly doing some training for our paraprofessionals on that day as well. So they were very, I would say they support the recommendation of B.
Any further comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, superintendent search updates. I've been in communication with Steve a little bit here and there, but Lynn and I got together to kind of try to put together for us kind of updates on where we're at with regard to advisory committees, and not going to take time to detail April 9th and 10th. We'll do that once we get past the interviews, or the first interviews and those kind of things, and see how many candidates we have, so we can see what the day is going to look like. But just in general, advisory committees, we had 32 responses from the PUSD community. That's 2 students involved as well. And so then we had 16 responses from the community at large, including the chapters. And so we have, our goal is to put together teams of 12. We're not hard sold on the number, but close. The job we'll have to do on the 12th is make the selections. We have plenty to select from, so that's good response. Again, thanks to Steve and Eloise for getting the word out, and all the IEC members from going out, and then Ed helping at the hospital, and I know Lynn made several calls out and about, and board members as well went out to kind of scour the plane, see if someone would step up. So appreciate that, and really appreciate the response from the school district. for this really important task. The other thing we talked about, just in general, I talked with Steve. I wanted to make sure that in terms of us getting the opportunity to select the questions that were going to be used, we had a group of questions we used last time. I don't know if you still have a copy of that. We may want to see that. But I also told him that we got to make sure that we take the top out of the SurveyMonkey that we ran, and we have all of that information, that we want to make sure we scour that to make sure we get the top ranking concerns or comments off of that. So we'll be doing that as well.
Mindy was going to do, I think, some questions, also some financial questions for consideration.
Good. Okay. And again, just to remind us, the 12th, we're going to have an awful lot of work to do. He's going to come in with, we did have 22 responses. As you know, I've passed that information off to you before. And he'll come in with, having reviewed every one of the folders, we will look at everybody, the whole thing. And so everybody will have an opportunity to discuss each individually. And from that point on, we will select for the 28 people that we want to interview, okay, for March the 28th. And from that point, then we come to our final candidates for April 9th and 10th. Okay. Let me see if I left anything off. Like I said, we talked a lot of details that really we're just going to make suggestions in terms of what the 9th and 10th will look like as best we can. We'll talk about community meeting as well, and just some other suggestions. But we'll be ready with that, because we will have to try to structure at least loosely 9th and 10th, and then we'll make adjustments. So we'll have to be flexible, just like Steve had mentioned. We'll have to have a flexibility to it, just depending on how many candidates, and kind of, be aware of the time that we have. And we think the Thursday will be the biggest day, and we'll leave Friday for any kind of overflow. We'll figure that out as we go. But did I leave anything out that we need to talk about? Okay, yeah. So, again, 12th is going to be just a full day for us. And breakfast will be provided, and lunch. So.
And maybe dinner, depending on.
And maybe dinner. There'll be incentive not to have dinner. Okay, all right.
We've already got breakfast and lunch, and dinner's just kind of like,
Right. So,
I'm going to bring a...
I had a little benefit to talk to Steve. He's just conducted 2 other searches, both with 24 and 20-some candidates as well. So there seems to be a lot of folks.
I have one question. I thought last time we had some pre-screening done by the committees. We never dealt with that many candidates. We only got the results, and then we got the top. Are we not doing that?
Well,
I think he was doing a certain amount of pre-screening, and just to tell you, hey, to summarize for you.
Does we have some kind of score system where we said, they got so many points, this and this, or they had this?
Again, that's going to be in our bucket, honestly, to handle, to say, if we want him to screen and we just want to see the top 10, but it was, again, that's something.
No, we saw everybody, but
right.
last time we saw everybody, but there was a certain amount of pre-screening done.
What I talked to him about is, and I said, we want to see everybody's name and every file.
Yeah.
And on that file will be his summary.
Okay.
And so we'll have the opportunity to look individually at everybody and then put it in the pile ourselves. When he said A and B piles, he's going to come in with his recommendations, and we'll see all of those.
Okay.
And then we'll actually do all the screening, selection, and all that. And then we'll have to, again, select the questions for the interviews, that for both advisory committees, and then also for us going forward when we interact with the final candidates as well, and what the 28th looks like. Any other comments, questions? Everybody's clear as mud on what we're doing here?
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. Okay, good. I'm excited. I was real happy with the response to the job posting, for sure, and so excited as we move forward. All right, that brings us to future items.
I have one.
Okay.
I would like to revisit our school calendars that we already approved.
Yeah.
I know, but I would like to revisit those calendars so we can avoid unpleasant surprises.
Okay.
Do you want to revisit this, your April?
As soon as possible.
Your March 24th board meeting is already looking pretty full. I can add it to it.
I know, but it shouldn't take long. It's just,
Okay.
it's just regarding one day and moving things around a little bit.
March 24th, okay, study session. All
Okay.
right.
Okay, good. Anybody else have any other items? And if you think of something, of course, you can run them by so that we can consider those. Okay. To my favorite part of the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, folks.
Well, Mr. Franklin, look at the clock.
We made good time, didn't we?
Good time.
Now remember that for March 12th.
March 12th.
Well,
A guiding principle.
I'm talking to Steve very, I said, we're not gonna run a marathon here.
I mean, you can't tell me that all of those 20 candidates are top candidates.
We owe it to whoever applied to look at it.
I agree.
And then, but it's gonna be easy to cut
I agree,
right off the bat.
but
Yep.
but it's kind of like when I do my interviewing process, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Artie, you didn't show up, you're out the window.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
No, there'll be some obvious cuts, and there'll be those that are like green. And that's what we're looking at.
yeah, but that shouldn't take all day.
I agree.
It does,
You
but
had
we have a
the beginning of
problem.
your advisory committee. The other things we talked about, deciding on your questions
don't think you
for the interview process, all of that.
We're gonna have to
But if
decide.
we pull up all the old stuff, it shouldn't take that long either.
This just
We have
happened
to make some
today.
adjustments,
I like
in a
it.
different situation.
Today.
Yeah, but we're in a different spot now than we were back then, so we might have to.
Now, I know we check my, I got April, I gotta stop working on that, but there was any particular
I'm
time
not
we,
gonna ask about what you're gonna do about
No, when
turnover,
they do-
because
when they
right now
do,
turnover is
any
acceptable.
particular thing we have to,
Yeah.
we just put anything on the revised, or?
I'm talking to him at least once a week, and I'm
Yeah.
emailing a couple times a week. And the intent is going to be to make, and I'm leaving him alone somewhat, because he's got two schools he's working with. And, but we'll get to that point where we're saying, we're gonna want to streamline this first off, but what's gonna be important is who we select on the 28th,
Right.
and how many.
The process,
Yeah.
And that's gonna be the biggest deal, and so.
I thought they had a limit on the number.
Maybe set it depending on how many you select for the 28th,
I'm
then.
looking on board, 500 there, more like 16.
Well,
Right.
kind of trying to do that.
All you're getting from me.
Yeah.
You know,
It'll
I'm thinking,
work.
I'm gonna pick a topic, something I think is,
I'm just like, I don't wanna be
Important to
there
me,
and give them points in every category and spend all day doing that.
you know,
All right.
and it's
They'll have-
been
And
important
that's not stuff to find?
to
Yes.
me lately.
You're falling down on your job, man.
Cause Ed's gonna get really anxious here in a second.